Okay, well, thank you guys for coming to my speech. This is an informative speech on the universe. It's going to be about 7 to 8 minutes. It's a lot of subject to cram into 7 or 8 minutes, so I guess I'll go ahead and get started. But if you look at this picture right here, I got this from HubbleSite.org, and you see all these little specks of light? Those are actually galaxies. Now, some of them are stars. There's a few stars here and things like that. But most of those are actually galaxies, and this was taken by some satellite, the Hubble site, I'm assuming, because of the website that it came from. Here's a closer picture of an area of space, and if you look, you can see all these little swirls and things. Those are easily identifiable galaxies, but actually all those points of light right there are actually galaxies as well. Now, there actually, a German supercomputer recently estimated that there are 500 billion or more galaxies. In fact, I believe it was just last week that a satellite actually saw a galaxy, the farthest we've ever seen. We didn't even know it existed. And even they said on their website that 500 billion is just the first guess. It could actually be even way more than that. They're not really sure. However, it is not believed that the universe is infinite. Now, that picture I just showed you comes from this section, if that gives you an idea of just how much it showed. It comes from that section right there, that picture and all those galaxies we just saw, and it looked like there was hundreds of them or so, you know, so I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought I'd share that. Could you imagine living back in the old days when Galileo went to jail for saying he believed the earth revolves around the sun? Now, thankfully, you know, people are more accepting nowadays of opinions and scientific research and things like that. He actually went to jail for saying that he believed the earth revolved around the sun, because back then, they believed the whole universe revolved around the earth. And they sent him to jail for saying what he said. He actually had to recant that he believed that the earth revolved around the sun rather than the universe around the earth and that kind of thing. He actually had to recant that for them to let him out of jail. He actually did say it just to get out of jail. So. But anyway, I'm just thankful we don't have to worry about that today. I won't go to jail for sharing this information. And all this information comes from, I just want you guys to know, all this information comes from the latest scientific theories that scientists have. Theories, you know how it goes with theories. Sometimes they find out they didn't know something, or they find out more information. But these are the most widely accepted and the most proved theories that they can figure out. They believe the universe started with the Big Bang. Of course, it didn't quite look like that. It looked like this, they think. They're not really sure what existed in the universe. As you can tell, this is just kind of all black around here. They're not really sure what existed before the Big Bang happened. They don't know what exploded. They have never been able to figure that out. There's several theories. Maybe it was some soupy ions, neutrons, subatomic particles, you know, whatever floating around. They just really don't know what existed, but they do know that there was a bang. However, the Big Bang is kind of misleading because they said it actually wasn't an explosion. Because an explosion, if you think of the way something explodes, it usually starts in one object and explodes in all directions. The Big Bang only happened in one direction. And our universe as we know it, all the stars and the black matter that we see in the sky when it gets dark at night and stuff like that, actually is the universe. It doesn't expand beyond where it exploded from. So anyway, what was here, we don't know. However, we know it exploded from something, and you know, it turned into little things, and we had galaxies and things like that. For instance, oh yeah, we can measure that the universe exploded. We're sure that there was an explosion of some kind, if that's the right term. I'm going to go ahead and use that term. Because the Planck telescope actually can measure the speed and the rate in which the universe exploded and its current movement. I'll get into that later. Anyway, they estimate that the universe is 13.81 billion years old. And like I said earlier, there's approximately 500 billion or more galaxies in here. Our galaxy is Milky Way. It was late when I was putting this together. Let's go to this one. Okay. Anyway, our galaxy is the Milky Way. That's us. We're in there somewhere. They estimate that our galaxy, the Milky Way, formed 4.6 billion years ago. Our planet, of course, is Earth, and they estimate that it formed somewhere between 3.5 and 4 billion years ago. That is science's best guess. in 1929, now here's something we have to understand. There was something, an explosion or a stretching out of the universe, 13.81 billion years or somewhere around that point in time. Most people thought, though, that the universe was static, that it didn't really move. But in 1929, this guy, Edwin Hubble, who they named the Hubble telescope after, actually figured out that the universe was actually still moving. And actually, that meant something to Albert Einstein, because Albert Einstein had this thing called cosmological constant. He believed that the universe was stationary, that it didn't move, but when Edward Hubble was able to prove that the universe was actually moving, that totally blew his theory out of the water. And there's actually a picture of those two guys right there together. I thought it was kind of neat they had a photo op together and stuff. So it blew Einstein's mind about that, and he actually removed his theory quickly after what Edward Hubble told him. Now, what the universe is made of, they're not really sure. They call it dark matter. Dark matter, and then something is fueling its expansion, and Hubble believes that it is something called dark energy. From what they've been able to study, they can figure out that the universe is comprised of 73% dark energy, 23% dark matter, 3.6% of some kind of intergalactic gas, and actually the planets, the suns, the stars, everything that we see is only 0.4% of the actual universe. That's all it is. Now, why is the rapid expansion of space, we knew there was a Big Bang, but why is that actually a concern? Because at some point in time, for the future of the universe, at some point in time, it started to accelerate. And if you kind of see this right here, our universe, for some reason, there was a Big Bang and it exploded somewhere around the speed of light. Now it's actually accelerating even faster. And the reason that's a problem is because it's accelerating so fast that they believe that the forces of gravity will not be able to hold everything together at some point. That means that all our solar systems, all our orbits, everything will just fall out because space will move so fast that gravity can't keep everything held together. So, if we didn't have enough things to worry about, you know, for instance, like let's take our own planet. In 5 to 6 billion years, they estimate that our sun will run out of hydrogen. It'll get ginormous and burn up our planet. And then it'll shrink down and just be a dwarf star, what's called dwarf star, a little red star. They believe there's a super quasar pointed at our solar system that could hit us with gamma radiation at some point in time, very powerful enough to destroy planets, our whole solar system, our sun, you name it. They estimate there's 16 million black holes floating around our universe at any point that can tear our universe apart, planets, and even though they're not very big, they can tear entire galaxies apart. And they're just kind of floating around out there at any point in time. And, believe it or not, in 5 billion years, they actually estimate that our universe, the Milky Way, will actually run into the Andromeda universe, and our universe will be destroyed that way. So if we didn't have enough things to worry about, this guy right here in 2003 came up with the theory of the Big Rip. That's the theory I was telling you about, where space is moving so fast that gravity actually won't be able to hold everything together. Eventually, all matter that exists, planets, stars, everything will eventually just dissipate and fall apart, and it'll be the end of the universe sometime in 22 billion years from now. And of course, they call it the Big Rip. But anyway, I just kind of want to give you guys a brief overview of some things about the past, present, and future of our universe, and I hope this gives you a little information, something to think about. And if you do look up any of these things on the internet, the Big Bang Theory apparently is a TV show on CBS. You'll get that more than you will actually the Big Bang Theory. And when I said the universe exploded in One Direction, apparently One Direction's a band, and that's very popular. And there's also, a Big Bang is also a Korean rock band. So if you look this stuff up, you might have to go on to page 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that to actually get this information. But anyway, thank you guys for listening to